Good evening, this is MemphisWeather.net meteorologist Eric Procius. I haven't done a video blog in quite a while, but thought had some good graphical information to share with you tonight looking at the week ahead forecast, and so decided on this format, and we'll see how it goes, and hopefully you enjoy it. We're going to dig right in then. This is recorded about 6:30 on Sunday night, February 17th. And the big story this week is going to be rainfall, and a lot of it. But we're going to start off with the antecedent conditions, what's already happened here that kind of sets the stage for what's occurring this week. And we're looking at precipitation amounts that have fallen in the Ohio-Tennessee valleys down into the Mid-South over the past week or so. And you see, we've already been dealing with quite a bit of rain, a lot of clouds around the last week, and bouts of rainfall. And as you can see from this graphic here, we do see there's a pretty high concentration just north of the Memphis area of 4 to 6 inches of rainfall that's already fallen down here in the Memphis area. It's about 3 inches or so in the last week. Lesser amounts down to the Tennessee Valley and over towards northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, but still a couple of inches has fallen here in the last week, and that is going to set the stage for what could be some issues as we head into this next week. So let's take a look at, first of all, the atmospheric moisture that is going to be moving across the area over the next week. And this will come back around and start. I'll let you know when this starts back at the current time. But basically what we're looking at is total moisture in the atmosphere. The browns being the lower atmospheric moisture, and then up to the greens and purples. And as you can see, as this goes through, we're getting into the latter part of the week again, but as this comes around, you'll see that there are plenty of different surges of moisture that move across the area. So here we go, starting at the beginning, and Monday and Tuesday, brown is pretty low, but you see this big slug of moisture that comes up out of the Gulf of Mexico and moves across the southeast. There's another one that comes in later in this week, and then next weekend on Saturday, there's another one in the purples, and those amounts of moisture, that's called precipitable water, but it basically is just measuring the total amount of moisture in the air, which could lead to the chances of heavy rain. And you see we're stuck in this pattern over the next week. Pretty dry out west. There's a big trough that's out over the western United States at the upper levels. There's a high pressure off of the southeastern coast of the United States, and between those, all of this moisture is being drawn up to the north and into the mid-south and southeastern U.S. And you see this pattern just continue. It kind of looks like waves of water that is rushing over the southeastern U.S., and that's going to set the stage for all of this moisture that's coming through. Here is the precipitation, and this goes from Tuesday, which was that first round of precipitation, Tuesday into Wednesday. There's another round that comes in Thursday into Friday, and there's yet another one there on Saturday into Saturday night, and this ends on Sunday. I'll let it run through one more time, but the first bout of heavy precipitation there is Tuesday into Wednesday. There's another lesser amounts later in the week, and then we see one more pretty heavy bout of precipitation and maybe some thunderstorms as we head into early this weekend. It does look like once this gets all the way through here, though, this week, once we can get through the week, it does look like a much drier pattern is shaping up as we head towards the beginning of next week. However, we're first going to have to get through these rounds of moisture. Here comes the first one on Tuesday once again, and that moves out early Wednesday. The next round here coming in Thursday afternoon into Friday, not quite as heavy. And the last one Friday night into Saturday, and then quite a bit of rain Saturday night into Sunday, hopefully clearing out by Sunday. So again, just to kind of give you an overview of what we're looking at. So the precipitation that is forecast by the National Weather Service, Weather Prediction Center, through next Sunday at 6 p.m. So this encompasses everything from over the coming week. And once again, you can see that these rainfall totals are excessive. Very large area through the Tennessee Valley into North Mississippi. This area I'm circling right in here is all 7 to 10 inches of rain over the next week. Again, those repeated rounds of moisture that are moving through that area, coming up from the south and flowing right through that direction. We're kind of on the edge of that, but even with the edge of that precipitation, the forecast right now here in Memphis is right around 6 inches of rain over the next week. That is a give or take. Obviously, when you get this amount of moisture that's moving through, exact amounts are to be determined. I think the best way to use this graphic is to see the areas right now that are of the biggest concern, and that's the area from, say, Nashville down to Huntsville and down into central Mississippi. But all of these areas that are basically above the red, 3 inches plus into the 10-inch amount, the ground is already saturated in all of those areas, and so any more rainfall that falls, which of course is going to be quite a bit, is going to lead to some issues that we're going to be having to deal with. And again, that first round that comes through here during the day, Tuesday into Wednesday, early Wednesday, could produce as much as 3 inches of rainfall here in the Memphis area. The Thursday, Friday, early Saturday, maybe another inch or so on top of what fell earlier in the week. And then as we get into the weekend, a major front moves through, and as that front moves through the area, we'll see another round of particularly heavy rain. Looks like late Saturday into early Sunday next week, and that could drop a couple more inches. So that's where all of these totals end up coming from. It's going to be a very, very wet week here in the Mid-South. So let's take a look at the this is the Tuesday into Wednesday time period, and this is the excessive rainfall outlook. And we've shown these graphics before for severe weather, and we're really not concerned with a lot of severe weather with this. There is just a moisture-laden atmosphere that's going to be dropping all kinds of precipitation, and this is a moderate risk for the areas we were just highlighting for the Tuesday-Wednesday time period of seeing rainfall that it could exceed flash flood guidance. And what that means is that we have a 20 to 50% chance, as indicated down here at the bottom, that we could see flash flood guidance exceeded, which means we could see some flash flooding from this heavy rain that occurs Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning. You see it's a very large area, and they have this in a day 3 period. That means there is a high confidence that many parts of those areas could see the potential for flash flooding. This is a outlook that was issued by the National Weather Service here in Memphis this morning for this period going ahead, describing the active period that's going to be taking place. Several periods of heavy rainfall, Tuesday night, again Thursday through Saturday, multiple upper level disturbances as this trough out to our west and the high off to our east just pump that moisture into the area. Areas along and west of the Mississippi River, somewhere around 3 to 6 inches of rainfall, and higher amounts North Mississippi, West Tennessee to the east of Memphis, up to 5 to 10 inches. And they are talking about, of course, saturated ground that could lead to flooding of some roads, low-lying areas, poor drainage locations. If there are areas that you know of that you encounter that may see high water or impassable roads or whatever, maybe it only happens every couple of years where those areas are greatly affected. This is a week where it could be one of those every few years type of event. We could be seeing those areas that you don't usually see flooding, maybe just every few years. Getting enough water to cause some problems. So if you live in areas that you are concerned about that, or you have routes to work or to school that could be affected, you definitely are going to want to keep that in mind, especially as we head into Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and then again later in the week. All of this is going to also have an effect on the Mississippi River. And this is the forecast for the Memphis gauge here, and currently the river in Memphis as of this afternoon was at just over 33 feet on the Memphis gauge, and 34 feet is minor flood stage, and that's expected to be reached tomorrow. The crest currently is for this weekend at 36 feet, which is 2 feet above that minor flood stage level. It shows a bit of a drop-off as we head towards the end of February into early March. This only takes into effect the precipitation that is forecast to fall throughout the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys, Missouri River Valley over the next several days. And with additional rainfall going into next weekend, I would not be surprised to see these values climb, especially as we get into later next weekend. I expect that we may see a higher crest. Not anything like we experienced a few years ago when the water was up on the south end of Beale Street there, or the west end of Beale Street. But it is going to be high water. You'll see all of the tributaries around the area carrying high water. Areas like the Loosahachie River out in Arlington that tend to flood after heavy rain. I would expect that could be a problem as we head into the middle of the week as well. So here's a few flood and flash flood tips for you. Let's go over a few of these just to make sure you're aware of what we're dealing with this week and how to prepare yourself. If there is flooding or flash flooding in the area, you certainly want to get to higher ground. Avoid those low spots in the road or areas that are prone to flooding. You now have a heads up that this could be occurring. Think ahead to where those are. If there are barriers across those areas, do not go around those barriers. There's a reason they're there. If your vehicle happens to stall in high water, you need to get out of it and make sure that you are getting safely away from that vehicle, calling 911 or another police or fire department that you can reach to help you out. Flood dangers, especially at night, are very hard to recognize with this very heavy rainfall coming Tuesday night. If you work overnight or if you have to leave early Wednesday morning, be aware that there could be issues and it's very hard to recognize at night. You don't know how deep the water is. Roads may be washed out in some areas in flooding situations, and so you want to always be aware of that. The message from the National Weather Service is always turn around, don't drown. If you're unsure, find another way to get to where you are headed, even at the expense of some minor inconvenience. Flooding is the #2 weather-related cause of death in the United States every year, and so this is it is not something to be to be overlooked. Just a couple of feet of moving water will move your vehicle, and if you're trying to walk through it, if there is moving water 6 inches deep, that's enough to sweep you off of your feet. We certainly want you to stay in tune with us throughout the upcoming week for the latest information. We will keep our forecast updated. We will have all the information you need on our social media outlets as well, on Twitter and Facebook, so make sure that you're watching those. And here's the forecast then, the detail for the week. We'll start off tomorrow dry. Fortunately, we need one more dry day. Unfortunately, we won't see a lot of sunshine. A lot of high clouds streaming overhead. The pattern is already setting up, bringing those clouds in up out of the Gulf. It is going to be mostly cloudy tomorrow. It'll be quite cool. Wind chills tomorrow morning when you head out the door around 25 degrees, 32 for the low, 45 for the afternoon high. As we head into Tuesday, that rain will start to fall a little bit in the morning, but it will come down heavy by the afternoon and especially into the evening and overnight hours. We will look at a low temperature around 34 degrees on Tuesday. I expect that we will remain above freezing, so I do not expect any wintry precipitation to start this off on Tuesday morning. Precipitation should hold off until mid to late morning, so that will be good. East winds blowing, pretty good clip there, and that's always an interesting scenario as well. You know, when the rain is falling heavy and the winds are blowing from the east, that means we've got low pressure to our south, and that's wrapping those winds up around that low. So 45 for the afternoon high. Wednesday, the rain falling in the morning, ending looks like hopefully by the afternoon, but by that time we could have about 3 inches of rain, 2 to 3 inches, maybe locally more. Rain chances high in the morning, decreasing during the day. We will see the low temperatures, the temperatures is Tuesday night actually rising a little bit, and a high on Wednesday of 56. Brief respite there from Wednesday into early Thursday. Another chance of rain moves in by Thursday afternoon, it appears. Winds out of the northeast. Temperatures generally mild, 40 for the low, 51 for the afternoon high. And by Friday, rain continues to be likely. I think it's going to be more hit and miss, but I think there's pretty good chances of it. Not particularly heavy at this point, but that could change, and we'll be keeping an eye on that. It warms up even more. And not shown on this forecast, but Saturday into early Sunday is going to be the next period to watch. We will have more details on that as we go through the week, but it looks like more heavy rain potential, as well as the chance for some thunderstorms with that, as a pretty major front finally moves through the area and pushes the whole system off to our east, changes the pattern, and we dry out as we head into the last week of February. So the points to be made here is to make sure that you are aware of the potential for heavy rain this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again throughout the latter part of the week and this weekend, and make sure that you are staying aware of that and making plans for that so that you can get to where you're going safely. Make sure that anything that you would do for periods where you only get this type of rain every few years, you're going to want to take those precautions as we head into this week. So that's the message for tonight. I hope everybody has a safe week. I hope you find a way to stay as dry as you can, and that you will be following us as Memphis Weather 1 on Twitter and Facebook. We will keep you updated as we go throughout the week. Everyone have a great night.